I found this interview with Patti Smith giving us some excellent advice for especially young people, young artists. Patti Smith fused rock with poetry. She was a songwriter, a poet, painter, author, and photographer, and her 1975 debut album, Horses, made her a figure in the New York City-based punk movement. Patti Smith is incredibly influential, and many artists have named her as one of their influences. For example, The Smiths, Madonna, Elliot Page, KT Tunstall even, and many more. Unpacking songwriting secrets with Deanna Faye. Let's give it a listen.
A writer or any artist can't expect to be embraced by the people. You know, I've done records where it seemed like no one listened to them. You write poetry books that maybe, 50 people read, and you just keep doing your work because you have to, because it's your calling.
This is a hard one to swallow, especially as a new artist, and I've talked about this before, but people won't necessarily like your work. People like your friends, your family, people that, you think would be your supporter aren't necessarily fans of what you do. And it's not an insult to you, and it doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't important or what you're doing isn't good enough. It's just a natural fact of being an artist. You're not necessarily making your art for these people. You're not making it for the people. If you're an artist, it's because it's your calling, like Smith points out. And so it's very important to understand that distinction.
But it's beautiful to be embraced by the people. Some people have said to me, well, don't you think that kind of success spoils one as a artist? Or, if you're a punk rocker, you don't want to have a hit record. And I say, fuck you. It's just like one does their work for the people, and the more people you can touch, the more wonderful it is. You don't do your work and say, I only want the cool people to read it. You want everyone to be transported or hopefully inspired by it.
But she goes on to say that although it's not for the people, of course you want your art, your music, your songs, your poetry, you want it to be inspiring. You want it to touch people's lives. But I think that's not the point of what you're doing, but it's a beautiful part of what can happen when you share your art. And I like the line that she says that it'd be ridiculous if you were to say you only want cool people to read your work. Well, that would be, you could do that, but that would lead to pretentiousness. That wouldn't be very authentic necessarily.
When I was really young, William Burroughs told me, I was really struggling. We never had any money, and William, the advice that William gave me was build a good name. Keep your name clean. Don't make compromises. Don't worry about making a bunch of money or being successful. Be concerned with doing good work and make the right choices and protect your work. And if you build a good name, eventually, that name will be its own currency.
I really love this sentiment because I think as a young artist, you might come into the industry wanting to be, coming out, kicking, banging, screaming, being famous, going viral, whatever it is, getting rich right away. But doing that, it could happen, but what you really should be doing, regardless of whether you get famous or not, is building a good name for yourself, and that over time, eventually, that will lead to success for you.
I remember when he told me that, and I said, yeah, but William, my name's Smith, is that it? Just joking, but to be an artist, actually to be a human being in these times, it's all difficult. You have to go through life, hopefully, trying to stay healthy, being as happy as you can, and pursuing, doing what you want. If what you want is to have children, if what you want is to be a baker, if what you want is to live out in the woods or try to save the environment, Or maybe what you want is to write scripts for detective shows. It doesn't really matter, you know. What matters is to know what you want and pursue it, and understand that it's going to be hard, because life is really difficult.
It's yet another hard, tough pill to swallow, because life is really difficult regardless of even if you achieve your dream, even if you go after doing what you want, it's still going to be difficult. It's still going to have its challenges. It's going to have its ups and downs. It's going to have different challenges than if you don't go after it. And I think it's important to realize this, because, you know, when you realize that all life's paths could be difficult, it's just how life is, it sort of puts that part of it out of the way, and you can just focus on doing the thing. And, you know, especially being an artist, focus on doing your art, and it will lead to good things. You know, I think it's not all going to be good. It's not all going to be rainbows. It's not going to be unicorns, but it will lead to your fulfillment. And I think that's kind of the point. Remember that although that there are other artists out there, there are other new and young artists, they're all trying to make it in this world and the business. They're people just like you, but it's not just that. It's not exactly a competition. It's a space for everyone. There's space for different styles of art. There's space for everything. And so by choosing to go and do what you want, you're essentially being a pioneer. And Patti Smith uses that word in this interview. And just knowing that doing that is always the right thing, no matter how hard, no matter how difficult. Not saying that there aren't exceptions to that, but if you go after what you want, it will bring many good things for you, for others. Thank you so much for watching, and again, I'm Deanna Faye. I'm a singer, songwriter, artist, and writer from Canada, and if you like this video, if you like music, songwriting, and the creative process, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if that's something you're into. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, consider joining my Patreon or buying me a coffee below. You can also check out my music, purchase it on Bandcamp, or listen to it on any streaming platform. Thank you so much, and take care.